Hello guys, welcome to the clinical scenarios and this is your case number 34. Here we have a 60-year female who is complaining of decreasing vision and dull ache over her left eye for the past 12 hours. So this is actually a sudden problem, acute onset. She is having decreasing vision and also the dull aching pain. She had a successful surgical cataract extraction in the left eye, that is same eye, 5 days ago. So that means it is something related with the cataract surgery that has taken place 5 days back in the same eye, and now she is having diminution of the vision. There is pain and also it is having the sudden onset, right? So it is a sudden painful diminution of vision after the cataract surgery. Now look at the vitals: BP 140 by 90, pulse 92, respiration 14 per minute, temperature 38.1. Examination of this eye shows a swollen eyelid, edematous conjunctiva, exudates in the anterior chamber. Testing with the Snellen's chart confirms the diminution of visual acuity in the left eye. So what is the most likely diagnosis of this patient? Now this patient has undergone the cataract surgery 5 days back. So if I relate it with the post-operative complications, post-operative complications can be divided into two parts. We can have early post-operative complications and the late post-operative complications. Early post-operative complications are like less than 3 weeks broadly, and late post-operative complications are more than 3 weeks, right? Now, the early post-operative complications, though it can take place as late as 3 weeks, but mostly it is less than 7 days, and less than 7 days, maybe it is mostly within 48 to 72 hours. So that means I am basically concerned with the early post-operative complications because this patient is presenting within 5 days, so that is your early post-operative complication. Now, what are these early post-operative complications? Most common is the hyphema. Hyphema is actually the blood in anterior chamber, while in this patient we were having the exudates in the anterior chamber. Then we can have iris prolapse of the iris outside. Then I can have the striate keratitis. I can have the striate keratitis. Then number 4, we can have flat anterior chamber, and the most serious complication, that I can have is the bacterial endophthalmitis. This is, most serious complication of the cataract surgery as a whole. Now, when I am talking about the sudden onset, there is a sudden onset, right? Sudden onset of diminution of vision, which is also having the pain, okay? And it is related to the cataract surgery. So what are the things which you can think of? Will hyphema cause pain and so much of diminution of vision? No. Neither the iris prolapse, nor the striate keratitis, not the flat anterior chamber. It is actually the bacterial endophthalmitis that is the most serious complication of the cataract surgery overall, be it intraoperative, be it early post-operative, be it late post-operative, plus the findings of this patient. They say that there is redness, there are exudates in the anterior chamber, and also we were having what? We were having the edematous conjunctiva, swollen eyelids. So all these are actually the signs of inflammation. So if you are having so much of inflammation, purulent inflammation, that you are having exudates in the anterior chamber just after 5 days, and there is a history of cataract surgery and clear-cut diminution of vision and pain after this, this is actually your bacterial endophthalmitis. Now, if you look at the other options, A is conjunctivitis. Now, first of all, conjunctivitis is not a known complication of the cataract surgery. Even if it is occurring, conjunctivitis will not lead to pain. Conjunctivitis just leads to the discomfort. So, there is actually a difference between the pain and discomfort. Conjunctivitis will not lead to the diminution of vision. Conjunctivitis will not lead to these exudates. So, obviously, this is not the answer. Corneal ulceration. So, corneal ulceration, if it is taking place, I will not have this corneal ulceration leading to very high diminution of visual acuity. Along with this, I have the swollen eyelids also, we have edematous conjunctiva also, we have exudation. Now, though there are certain bacteria which can lead to the dangerous hypopions, okay, but these are not the most common which are causing the keratitis after the cataract surgery. It is the striate keratitis which is common after the cataract surgery. Striate keratitis means the inflammation in the deeper layers, right? And once the infection has creeped in, you know, the most common cause of the endophthalmitis which is taking place after the cataract surgery, the cause is from the patient's own flora. The cause is the patient's own flora. So, once it is entering the eye, it is not just limited to the cornea, they are virulent, okay. So, they are actually involving whole of the eyeball. So, apart from the sclera, they are involving all of the eyeball, whole of the coats, that is why it is called as bacterial endophthalmitis. And then third is uveitis. Now, uveitis does not have an infectious etiology. It is most commonly having the autoimmune etiology, or I can say the allergic etiology. Uveitis is also not known to be related with the cataract surgery. So, your answer is post-operative endophthalmitis. The picture which is given is relating to endophthalmitis. It is the most common intraoperative, most serious intraoperative, early postoperative as well as the late postoperative complication. And how much is the risk? This is the patient finding that you are able to see on the slit lamp. So, this patient has the maximum risk from his own flora. This is very important. Now, which organism is actually responsible for causing this endophthalmitis? So, if it is early onset, like in this case, then it is actually the Staph epidermidis. Staph epidermidis is the organism that is related in the early onset, but in the late onset, in cases of late onset, it is the Propionibacterium. Then it is the Propionibacterium acnes that is actually related. So, you have to do something apart from giving the antibiotics. We do give pre-operative antibiotics or intraoperative antibiotics, post-operative antibiotics, we keep on giving. But what is the most efficient effect? So, the best prophylaxis. Now, this is also very commonly asked. What is the best prophylaxis for preventing this bacterial endophthalmitis? Though the risk is very less, 0.2 to 0.5%, but even this much risk is quite high and you have to keep on diminishing it, because even if one patient amongst the 1000 patients, even if one patient suffers from the bacterial endophthalmitis and his vision has gone, that is sufficient enough to curb your career or to make you guilty. So, we have to actually keep on decreasing the cases of endophthalmitis. So, what is the best step that you can do? We give the antibiotics. Previously, we used to do even the trimming of the eyelashes. Previously we used to do even the trimming of eyelashes, then we are maintaining whole asepsis in the OT, you are doing scrubbing, you are putting the surgery wear eye drapes, okay, nobody who is having some sort of infection is acceptable in the OT. Even the common cold, person having common cold should not be allowed to enter the IOT. So that much amount of asepsis has to be maintained. Any case to be operated which is infected, like we have cases of dacryocystitis, so you have to keep them only after you have done with the cataract surgery. So everything you have done. But what is the best prophylaxis? Just the single drop. Just the single drop of 5% povidone iodine. Just the single drop of 5% povidone iodine just before the surgery. It is about 2 to 3 minutes. You have to give it just 2 to 3 minutes prior to the start of surgery, because that much time is taken for its onset, and this gives you the best prophylaxis. Now always remember that whenever you are having the diminution of vision, pain, acute onset after the cataract surgery, especially if they have given you that diminution of vision is after the initial improvement, that is a very, very important clue for endophthalmitis. And it is always said that it is better to overdiagnosed than the underdiagnosed. So whenever you are having some complication, it's always good that you think of the worst possible thing. You have to think about the most serious complication, because if you are able to prevent or treat early that worst scenario that could have taken place after the surgery, then the rest of the things can be taken care of. So it is always better to think of endophthalmitis, even if it is not, maybe you are preventing it at the earliest stage. So always think of endophthalmitis, especially in the early post-operative period, if there is pain, if there is redness, exudation, as well as the diminution of vision after the initial improvement. So I think this is very, very clear. Endophthalmitis is an important topic because it is a complication that is taking place after a very common intraocular surgery, and that is the cataract surgery. And that is the reason I have recorded a separate video on endophthalmitis. You can find on my YouTube channel. I'll be sharing the link of the endophthalmitis in the description box. So go through it. This will help you in so many other aspects of solving the questions, because whenever we are being asked about the cataract surgery, in some way or other they ask you a question on endophthalmitis. So I have shared one video on endophthalmitis and then one video on the destructive procedures. How will you treat these cases? So how to do the evisceration, enucleation, indications, contraindications, how they look like, and what is the difference between exenteration. So I'll be sharing their links in the description boxes. Always go through them, and that will definitely going to benefit you in getting a broader aspect of these questions. In case of any doubt, you people can always ping me up on any of these social media platforms. I hope you are following me on Instagram, because we are being posting the clinical scenarios over the Instagram also, because so many people said that we are not on Facebook or we don't have time for YouTube. Okay, so for that we are sharing the videos on the Instagram. Those of you are more on Instagram, and do visit my Facebook page and follow me on Insta. Okay, you can also be a part of my Telegram group as well as the Facebook group. There is so many academic stuff, motivational stuff. I know you people are going through stress, and like the academic things, you also require that motivational dose daily. So we have to keep a balance. Okay, and I'm trying for that you are being motivated and maintain that maintenance dose of motivation, so that you keep on studying well and adding up your knowledge with these videos. Thank you, and happy ophthalmology.